Hello and welcome to Traditional Stitches FlossTube video number 8. I'm Janice, the owner of Traditional Stitches, and I'd like to introduce you to my very special guest today. This is Kathleen. She is my right hand in the shop, manages our shipping and our billing, and works in the office most of the day. Hi Kathleen.
Hi.
Welcome to our first video together.
Thank you.
There'll be plenty more, I'm sure.
Uh-oh.
So Kathleen's been to Nashville with me a couple of times, and I have to explain though that today we're having a super hot day in Calgary, which is why we're a little bit glowy. I was going to say wilted, but maybe glowy works. Us Canadian girls are not used to this heat. It's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's pretty early for the season. We usually hit these temperatures in August.
Yeah. Last year it was August.
Yeah. So, but that's okay. So you'll notice that we are filming in the shop for the very first time. So we pushed back some fixtures so it looks a little bit busy, but we just wanted to share it with you. We turned off the phones, so hopefully it's not too crazy, and we're just going to go with it. So today we're going to talk about a few different things. Anne Morrison, of course, our Blackbird Designs exclusive sampler, What Remains Is Love, the new and upcoming Hands Across the Sea exclusive called Eliza Martha Linfoot, and also Kathleen and I are both going to show what we're currently working on. So let's get started.
I'm surprised we have time to stitch anything, really, but
yes, these days that's so true. But it's we're going to get back to this at the end of the video too, but thank goodness we have our stitching these days. So in our last video, we had talked about the impact that COVID was having on our shop during the month of April. And I'm glad to say that things are much better in our shop for the month of May. But our employee who ended up in hospital and on ventilator with COVID is still not back with us. She ended up with pneumonia and is getting better day by day, she tells us, but not ready to come back to work. So we are still a little bit shorthanded, but we've just decided that we're going to make do with that for now.
The rest of us, I think, are we all up to first doses? Everybody who wants one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And second doses around the corner.
Are coming, yeah.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. All right, so I'm going to hold up Kathleen's version of Anne Morrison, and she is doing hers on the 37 count Russian tea cake with the soie d'Alger, which we haven't shown on our videos yet. So
It's not.
We're going to start with showing you Kathleen's version of the Anne Morrison Sampler, which is done with the soie d'Alger silk thread on 40 count Newcastle cream linen. So she broke the mold a little bit and chose a different linen than the rest of us, but I'm going to show it to you so that Kathleen can talk a little bit about stitching on Anne.
Yeah, I picked a 40 count just because I liked the little bit warmer color of the cream, and I found it a little bit higher contrast with that really pale blue. And I'm really happy with the way it's coming out. I think the colors are showing up really well. So this has been a lot of fun to stitch. I learned a lot. I got through the eyelets successfully thanks to Angela's awesome diagrams. And I found that once I started with the flow and kind of realized how it was moving, it was a breeze. And they turned out really even and consistent, and I'm really happy with them and looking forward to doing more.
Well, I'll take a close-up of a couple of your letters and insert them so that people can see them in detail. But I remember when we were first talking about tackling the eyelets and you weren't really sure about the traveling theory.
I had only ever done them one at a time before, so I'm doing an eyelet and finishing off the back and then starting the next one. So this way was really new to me, but I think in future, if I have a row like this is the way I'm going to do it because I'm really happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah. Thanks, Angela.
Yeah.
So those traveling diagrams are only available in our Facebook group for the Anne Morrison Stitch Along, which is going to be linked below. We're still accepting members, and even if you're not stitching the sampler, you're welcome to join. And then you have access to the files section and you'll be able to see them there. So We're happy to see that everybody so bravely tackled all of the eyelets in the sixth section of our sampler, and we're now ready to talk about going into the seventh section. And Kathleen's going to point that out in the big picture that's the centerfold of our sampler, and it is the section that she's going to point out there with the bird and the basket. And the interesting thing about this section is going to be the two-color eyelet letters.
I'm a pro now. I'm not worried about it.
You're not worried about it. So you'll notice that our fearless stitch-along leader, Rose Heck's not with us today. She got a month off, but she has done a lot of homework in advance of our video. And she took, I think there's about 30 photos of explaining the journeys that she took while she was stitching her two-color letters, the T and the M.
That's these guys.
Yeah. So I'm going to put those at the end of the video, and I'm going to make their exposure just a little bit longer so that you can screenshot her photos. And she is also going to post them in the Facebook group a couple of days after this video goes live. So watch for them there for sure.
Okay.
So we're past the halfway point.
Yeah.
Isn't that hard to believe?
Yeah.
All right. So Rose did give me a couple of written notes. So she said on the T that she, and you'll see this when you look at the photos at the end of the video, just the photo. So on the T, she did each color separately using the partial eyelet traveling method that we used in the alphabet. And then on the M, she tried to do both colors at the same time. So she would put in a partial eyelet of the gold and then park that thread off to the side of her work and thread up and do a partial eyelet of the red. And so she just kept alternating as she went down. The key about that is to make sure that if you're traveling on the back of your work, that you get a tacking of your tail, because you wouldn't want to do an eyelet and have your traveling stitch on the back of your work showing through the hole that you just pulled nicely. So then the other thing I wanted to show you all is that we just received this morning, in perfect timing, a brand new shipment of owls from our wood turner who is on Vancouver Island. And so we've got 5 different colors, we've got lots of stock. This is what they look like.
They are gorgeous.
Aren't they gorgeous?
He does such a nice job.
They're so smooth, and they've got these beautiful little rings that are for nothing more than just beauty. And yeah, they're gorgeous. They're a little bit variant in length and width, but we have them listed on our website, and we'll link it below. And they're very handy for using on your eyelets. They each come with a little bit of plastic on them to protect the tip. So they're really good. Okay, and my hands.
You
are
had to pick
slippery
the
'cause
one.
So if you can
Oh,
see
nice.
the point there. So it's not too pointy, but it will go in between the threads of your linen quite nicely. Down into the linen, waggle it around a little bit, go to kind of the same length, depth of poke on each eyelet, and they'll turn out evenly and beautifully lacy. So if you have any questions of Rose about her eyelet photos that are going to be at the end of this video, definitely reach out to her and ask her on Facebook in the group, because if you have a question, probably everybody's going to have the same question, or you can leave a comment below. And she's awesome about getting back to people, so we invite you to do that. And then if there's anything that she needs to demo next month, we'll make sure that that happens as well. So the next thing that we want to talk about is our beautiful Blackbird Designs What Remains is Love exclusive sampler. And so we have a little bit of a treat for you today. We have them both. So we're gonna just show them off. Not cool to see them together.
Oh, almost the same size, very close.
Yeah, not very far off. So the difference is that my version is stitched on 40 count linen using the hand-dyed cotton floss, and Kathleen's is stitched on the 36 count linen using the very special silk thread conversion from Amy Mitten Designs of Fibers to Die For. So do you want to talk a little bit about using Amy's silk?
Yeah, they were wonderful. I think Amy has done a wonderful job with the conversion. If you see them again beside each other, there's almost no difference in the colors. They're very, very similar. They are a joy to work with. As Janice knows, when I'm billing orders that have Amy silks in them, I often get distracted just kind of going like this because they feel so good and the colors are so pretty. So they were great to work with. I really enjoyed the satin stitch part because it really shows off the sheen of them. And yeah, it was just so much fun to stitch this whole sampler.
So there's a little bit of satin stitch in these floral baskets here, up in the top of the heart. There's some
Smyrnas
in there,
yeah.
and Smyrna's in the basket as well, and in the peacock tail feathers. So
Yep.
It's got a little bit of variety and just a fun sampler to stitch.
Yeah, lots going on, but beautiful design. So thanks again to Barb and Elma.
Yes, they really stepped up.
They spoiled us.
Yeah. So that leads us to the question of where are we at with the shipping of this sampler? And we are just about at the halfway point of shipping the third batch of orders. And you can always follow our shipping progress on our website, and I'll link that below, that tells you what batch has been shipped, what batch we're working on, how long we think it's going to take. So each batch of orders takes us about a month to ship, between cutting linen, kitting orders, invoicing, and you guys have been so funny because everybody is so excited about this sampler that we've had people that have ordered it 3, 4 times, different combinations and that kind of thing. So we're really paying attention to the details and making sure that that gets caught before your order gets shipped to you. So we really appreciate your patience. I think it'll take about 2 more weeks to finish up batch number 3, which is actually awesome because we originally thought we were going to start batch 3 this week, and we're almost halfway through. So things are going really well from that perspective.
So by the end of batch 3, we'll have sent out about how many of this design? A lot, like over 1,000 easily. Yeah.
But at this point, we've still got lots of stock. And if you were to order today, your order would be in the 5th batch, which we're anticipating is going to go out about the 1st of August. And that's just about getting caught up with keeping up with linen and cutting and kitting and billing and everything. So the one thing that I did want to say is that we're pretty big on fairness in our shop. So we really believe in filling orders in the date order that they were received. So if you order just a chart, it's not going to speed up the shipping of your order. So go ahead and order all the stuff because it'll get to you in the same amount of time.
And you'll wish you did afterwards, like staff.
So we'll link to that below. And if you have any questions, let us know. But just note that we do take the time to write very, very detailed explanations of our shipping plans and everything on our website in the product of the item that we're talking about. So please take the time to read that through thoroughly. And sometimes what you can see on your telephone screen if you're ordering from your cell phone is maybe not big enough. So if you took the time to look at a tablet or a laptop, then you would have all the information there and you'd know what to expect. Okay. So our video is going to go live on the evening of Friday, June the 4th, which is just in time for the Blackbird Designs Stitch Along weekend on Instagram. So the hashtag is below, and we hope that everybody enjoys stitching on whatever Blackbird project you're working on this weekend.
I kind of want to do it again.
Well, we'll just have to see about another one. Okay. So then the other exciting thing that's happened in the shop recently is that Oh, I know I've left you teasers about Hands Across the Sea exclusive
Mhm.
samplers in the past, and we have one, but it's not the one that I mentioned. So we have a shop exclusive coming up, but in the meantime, Nicola had the great idea of having a stitch along for a sampler that's called Eliza Martha Linfoot. And we couldn't say no to this opportunity because it's exclusive to some of our favorite people in the whole wide stitching world, including us. So Jean Lee at Attic Needleworks, Kathy Ray at Needle in a Haystack, Carolyn is joining us from Stitch in Time in Australia,
That's
which
pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
very exciting. And of course, the charts are available from Nicola. So with a team like this, we couldn't say no. So we decided that we were going to just postpone our exclusive for a little bit, and we'll have more information for you on that when we're ready. But now let's just talk about the Linfoot sampler. So many of you joined us in the Stitch Along for the Jane Fittis sampler. And I have mine almost stitched except for the turkey work, so we'll feature that in a future.
Have you been stalling with the turkey work?
Yes, but I'll tell you about my distraction at the end of the video.
Okay.
So because the Fittis sampler was just so amazing and we want to keep that rolling, Nicola came up with the idea to do a stitch along for the Eliza Martha Linfoot sampler. That's a continuation of the same Jane Fittis stitch along group on Facebook. And the samplers are beautiful together, so yeah, it makes sense to do that. So the 4 shops that I mentioned are going to be offering a limited time 10% discount when you buy 3 components of the sampler, the chart, whatever fabric you choose to use, and whatever threads you choose to use. So there will be, on our shopping cart system, the discount doesn't come off at the time that you place your order, but it will come off when we manually process your order in August. So we're hoping to have the kits on their way towards the end of August for a stitch along start date of October 1st. So some people have emailed us asking for the supply list for this sampler, and the shops that are participating in Nicola have agreed that we're not going to let those out until the charts start shipping.
You say that 3 times fast.
Well, it's like the tarts and their starts, right? I do. So the reason why we're not doing that is twofold. One is because the shops that participate and organize in these events put a lot of work into them. And so it would be great if you ordered the silk thread from us and the linen from us. And that's really what's going to contribute to us keeping on doing these kinds of things. The other component to that is that we've got an amazing supplier in Access Commodities.
Yeah.
And before we announced this stitch along, we talked closely with them about what would be doable dates for linen and silk thread supply, and we committed to a certain number of orders. So that is the other thing, is when we are putting together planning for something like this, we really put it together a long ways ahead.
Oh yeah.
And we make commitments to these people, and 21 years in business, that kind of thing is really important to us.
I think you've been on the phone about at least once a week, making sure that this is all lined up and ready to go.
So I'll insert photos here of the sampler chart, which of course we don't have yet, but we were able to put together some thread and linen shots. So I took those today, and the first one that you'll see is DMC floss. And so I should back up a little bit and say that we're offering this all on the same color of linen, but it comes in your choice of 30 count, 38 count, 45 count, or the 53/63 uneven count. And if you watch Nicola's video last weekend, you'll know that her sampler was stitched on the reproduction was stitched on a slightly uneven count of linen, which gives it a taller perspective than a wider perspective. So that was really cool to see and hear that that's how it had worked out. So watch her video, I'll link it below. So DMC floss is an option, then soie d'Alger, and also the soie 100/3. So we had some fun playing with the conversions.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah, really, really nice.
Yeah, laying them out. Photography just never does anything justice, but yeah, that was fun. So shipping towards the end of August, 10% discount for orders that are placed by the end of July of this year, and hoping for a stitch-along start date of October 1st, but that...
July is coming fast. It's June already. I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to mention at the beginning of this video, Kathleen has a few grandchildren, and her granddaughter lives quite close to her, so she's been rushing home at the end of these hot summer days to play in the splash pool. And how old is your granddaughter?
7 months. Yeah.
So just totally at the fun age for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so advance orders are welcome and recommended. And then Nicola, in her generosity, has again offered a real antique sampler as a prize draw for those who complete the stitch along within a year. And so I do have a photo of that sampler, so I will insert that here.
Do we qualify?
I don't know if we qualify, but I know that a few years ago Rose won one.
Yeah, she did. She was so excited.
Yeah.
The one that she's giving away is very pretty. She does show it on her video.
Yes, and actually the chart is available for that.
Yeah.
For the Godheart sampler.
Yeah.
So
very pretty.
We'll link that to that information as well. So then, what are we working on? What you got?
Stuff.
You brought some finished projects to show.
I have a couple. So a few months ago, I think time is a blur. A few months ago when this came out, I saw this come through and I said, oh, I have to have that. Anybody who knows me knows the story of Chippy the bear.
Did you bring Chippy?
I didn't bring Chippy, no. No, he was shy. Maybe next time. So I saw this and I had to have it because it looks like Chippy and it reminds me of Chippy. So, and I know Teresa's been doing bears for a long time. She did the figurines and I don't think they're in production anymore, but she said on one of her blogs how much she misses them. So I had to do that. So it took me a few nights and this is how he turned out. So he's beautiful. I think she did a really good job charting him, and Chippy's quite proud of it.
The blue showing through is the linen color. Right?
Yeah, and I think that's Mystic. Yeah. Picture this plus Mystic with Weeks Dye Works and DMC threads, and it was a lovely stitch, and I really like them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and I can vouch for the resemblance to Chippy because he often comes with us on retreats and hangs out on the stitching frame and that kind of thing. Actually, I have a picture of that.
He has 9 brothers and sisters, but I don't think I'm going to do 9 more. But you never know. All right, and what are you working on?
Well, the other thing I want to show is your other recently finished piece here.
Yeah.
So I'll hold up the stitched piece. And so this, go ahead.
Another one that came in that I couldn't resist. This is Samplers Remembered. Sampler roll, and this has been really popular in the shop. We get it in and we sell it out. We get it in and we sell it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So this band with the little village scene on it is an excerpt from a larger sampler, which you can kind of see in the background of the picture.
Beautiful antique.
I'll insert a picture here so that you can see a little bit more of the details here, but I'm just going to hold it up and rotate it. So what were the supplies on this, Kathleen?
It's done on the Weeks Dye Works Confederate Gray Linen, which gives it a really nice, soft, antique feel, and done with all Weeks Dye Works threads.
And then you did a beautiful job of finishing this.
I always do.
Yeah. You have a history, though, a background in sewing.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And I believe you have a list of things for me to finish.
I have a box.
Yeah. So this was her instructions for finishing were very clear and easy to follow. And it turned out very pretty. Yeah, I think Jean, was it Jean that said they have somebody who stitched it over one? to make a tiny little
wouldn't
pin
that-
cushion.
yeah,
That would be
that's
pretty too,
gorgeous.
but yeah, not my eyes.
Teeny tiny.
Yeah, so sampler roll.
And then you stuffed it with walnut shell.
Yeah, I
Which
like the weighted
gives it-
filling. Yeah.
It's so it's weighted and it's stable too.
Yeah.
Holds it stable. Cool. All right, so what have I been stitching? Well, I've made a little bit more progress on my Sarah Jackson sampler, but the dreaded cross stitch over 1 on 40 count is holding me back from finishing it. So that's where I'm at.
Sarah.
So I have a little bit of verse left to do, and then it's going to be done.
And it was the color, I think, that got you for this one, wasn't it? It's so unusual.
Yeah, and the way that the lighter colors pop
Yeah.
on the dark, that really
Looks
attracted me.
goes great with my hair. But it is an unusual color for a sampler, for them to pick this Weeks Dye Works Dolphin, right?
Dolphin, yeah.
And I think it's really pretty.
So it's hand-dyed cotton floss on the linen, which we have available in 35 and 36 count.
Look at your basket. It's almost sparkling.
Oh. Yeah, it's been fun to stitch, but yeah,
Very pretty.
you all know already that cross stitch over 1 is not my favorite thing to do. And then the other thing that has got me distracted in a big way right now, I didn't bring it, but I did take some pictures of my work, so I'll insert them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's on
She's been at the pub lately.
Don't I wish? Can we do that yet? Almost, hey? We can
Almost, yeah.
Is the Scarlett letters, Peacock, Unicorn, and Badger sampler, and it is a full coverage actually.
It sure
And
is.
It's an original design but inspired by tapestry. And so I'm doing it on 40 count lambswool linen using the soie d'Alger, and it's cross stitch with a little bit of satin stitch. And we don't get a lot of time to watch FlossTube these days, just with the hours that we're working and family and that kind of thing. But we have been watching Brenda and the Cereal Starters FlossTube, and know just what she's sending our warm wishes and our positive thoughts and cheering.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the thing that really struck me that applies to my current situation, my current project, is the hashtag of Stitch What You Love. And this Peacock, Unicorn, and Badger definitely falls into that category like nothing that I've really stitched for a while. So yeah, lots of pleasure and late nights and putting off all the other things.
Yeah. It'll be a beautiful shop model when it's done to hang up somewhere in here.
Well, we still have to make room for the Hands Across the Sea
Yes.
models that are hanging in my studio at home. And then when the border opens up, actually Kathy Ray of Needle and Haystack has another 4 Hands Across the Sea models that are due to come to our shop when we can go and pick them up stateside. So yeah, lots of things to look forward to. Anything else? Does that take care of our 5 pages of notes?
You did pretty good.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again in a month's time. And Rose's eyelet photos are going to follow.
Yeah, carry on with your Ann Morrisons. We're watching the Facebook group and the Instagram pictures and enjoying every single picture. We're so happy that people are enjoying this and showing their beautiful results. So keep it up.
All right. Well, until next time, everybody, have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.